I'm here at the UK Asian Film Festival at the BFI after the long shorts film screening with one of the filmmakers. Could you tell me your name, the name of your film and what it's about?
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Sid or Siddharth, Sid Menon, and my film is called A Little Bit of Glitter. And the story is about a 62 or 63-year-old recently widowed Indian woman in London, and the friendship she forges with a 19-year-old black gay man when she sublets a room in her house, and thereby, in the process, not only rediscovers herself but rediscovers her love for makeup. And yeah, that's what I would say. It's a very short, feel-good queer comedy drama.
It sounds like a wonderful story, and having lived in India when I was a child and gone back there, the one thing that I really noticed about India, I remembered, is these wild colours and everything being decorated and a lot of shiny, like mirror stuff on
Yeah.
clothes and whatever. Could you say something about how you feel that, like, the culture, the Indian culture, relates to that and that theme in your movie?
I completely agree. I think there is inherently in our culture, there is a lot of color induced, not only in costumes but also, like in some places, in some cities, if you go, the houses also are like painted from exterior, let alone interior. The exterior, they're painted violet and green and maroon and odd sorts of vibrant colors that you can think of. So I think color is a very intrinsic part of the Indian culture. In our film as well, I was lucky, we shot this in London, and I was lucky to stumble upon a house that had almost exactly the color palette that we wanted. In the film, the living room and the bedrooms have a teal colored walls, and the kitchen has pink, and it has a lovely backyard with lush greenery with a lot of flowers, and it's almost like a secret garden with passages and so on. So we really lucked out, and we found some brilliant we found some brilliant location owners who are absolutely benevolent with our shooting and like filming there, and they really love the story. And so I completely agree. And what we did as part of the film is also we ensured that all the costumes that the old woman, the character's name is Vidya, and the black gay man, which is Nick, all the costumes they wear also complement the background colors. So it didn't. We felt that there was a color palette in place, and nothing stood out per se, like be it in the entire palette of the film. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the I would say that is the takeaway that we had in terms of like the culture and in terms of color being there in Indian culture and as well as in films.
And you told me that this film was made as part of London Film School course. And I'm familiar with London Film School, and they really produce filmmakers who get out there and make films together. Could you tell me about that process and how that was for you?
I recently graduated from London Film School, and I had a ball of a time having made some wonderful companions and collaborators. And I think one of the most brilliant aspects of the course is that London Film School, unlike many other film schools, teach you MA filmmaking, and by that means they teach you a bit about every aspect of filmmaking. Be it so every term you do a bit of sound or camera or production design or editing, even directing. So even students who want to go into cinematography in one term get to direct a 3-minute short film. And thereby also understand what it is to be in each other's shoes, which I think is extremely important, because if I had studied only direction all throughout my 2 or 3 years at film school, I think I would have been a little more myopic. I'm sure people go out, take efforts to understand other departments. But what happened at London Film School or LFS is that it gave me a very lovely encapsulated form of every branch of filmmaking, and therefore make me humble enough to respect every department also, because I think that's also important. Sometimes as directors and filmmakers, you're always constantly thinking that you are the biggest role on the set, and but it's always a democratic process. I am absolutely useless without my HODs and without my department heads. I don't know how to handle the camera properly, or I don't know how to light a scene properly. But my directors and my director of photography or my production designers can then enrich my brain and my vision, and therefore curate and then add, because everything adds a layer. So that's why I think London Film School had some wonderful. I was fortunate enough to stumble upon some wonderful collaborators, and and that speaks to their talent. For example, to give you an example, my production designer, he's from China, but the film is about an Indian woman set in an almost very Indian looking house. So it was, yet he managed to kind of like get everything intact. We had a wonderful art director as well, and they both worked very well together. And the art director was from India, and they were able to curate a lovely, a lovely set for us to shoot, to have the story basket.
I completely agree that every single part of a film and every role is very important. I have done a lot of roles myself through the opposite thing, which is being like a solo person who just has to do it all and learn it all, because there was the way I studied was more like fine art. There was no one there to help me, so I had to
Do it
and
all yourself.
it makes you respect.
That's a learning on its own for sure.
It is. It makes you respect people,
Absolutely.
but I prefer to collaborate now. I collaborate
of
more.
course.
But I think that is a very good experience, and when you have everybody on board with the theme, adding their bit, it makes the piece more and more layered, and it makes it very powerful, I think. And the visual scene of what you were doing it sounds like it's a very important part of the film. It makes sense to me. And could you say something about do you think that India is a gay-friendly place? Do you think that your film has a sort of message that's important, for India in particular, or is it? I don't know. I don't know much about that whole world, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Honestly, because the film is set here, and more importantly, it's about the friendship between an Indian woman and a gay boy, and the Indian woman is straight. So, while the film is a queer film, I don't think it is necessarily directly about the queer community, but it's about the interdependence of the both, people, and that was something that I was quite drawn towards while I was writing the stories. I wanted each of them to be interdependent on each other, and if you see the film, you'll know that both of them both of them complete each other. In some sense, they are companions, and that's an unlikely friendship, or like how someone mentioned, it's about the chosen family that you have. This Indian woman who has been dominated her entire life by her elder brother or by her husband, or whoever it is, and like has never had her voice out loud, and enter this very flamboyant gay boy who really has his own battles, but has learned to like mask them and put on a facade of happiness, and how despite that, like, they in some sense complete each other. And so I don't know, I can't speak for how much of it's open in India, although obviously homosexuality is legal in India, so that's but always the cultural stigma associated with it will take some time although it is far better than it was maybe 10 years ago, and there are far more queer-friendly movies, and there are far more queer-friendly initiatives that are there in India at the moment than ever before. And in fact, we had like a wonderful film on our panel, on our slate of short films here, called If, which is about a lesbian couple in the state of Bengal, which is the northeast of India. And some wonderful, and it's a wonderful tale about like the forbidden love and so on. So as far as India is concerned, I think it is still developing in terms of its queer identity and all of that. But this particular story, or our particular film, is principally, I would say it's because the central character, I would say, is the woman, which is Vidya. And yeah, and I think it is just, it's more about that where it in the most unlikeliest of places that you will find your family.
I think that's very true, and I like the human angle, the humanness of your story, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and that's what we have in common. And
Very true.
and you know, once, particularly when you're in an odd situation, often you find your commonalities with people that you didn't think you had any.
Yeah, I agree.
And well, I'm really pleased that you've got your film in this wonderful film festival at this
Thank you so
great
much.
venue. Congratulations! I hope
you.
you go on to do many fantastic things afterwards. Are you going to carry on filmmaking and
Yeah, I
and,
mean, it is. I'm from. Before filmmaking, I was in the corporate world. I was working as a risk management consultant. So all this is still, I wouldn't say new to me, but I'm still like finding my ground, and like, making ends meet, and like we're trying to like, filmmaking is such a beautiful yet scary field. So yeah, definitely I would love to tell stories that I want to say. I think I'm a very commercial filmmaker. I don't think I'm too poetic, as much as I'd love to be. But I think so. Therefore, I think my sensibilities are very in tune with a very a cinema-going audience, is what I'd like to say. But yeah, I want to tell stories that people relate to, and I love telling a plethora of stories that and because of my film, I really like stories wherein people from different walks of life interact. I mean, our world today more than ever is becoming smaller and smaller, not just because modes of transportation, but modes of communication. Today, I might know of an influencer sitting in one remote village in Korea and doing, TikToks over there. And that's so beautiful that I'm able to see a small insight into his, her, or their life. And it's just, I think because of that, I think it's wonderful that, we the exposure that we have to a lot more stories is far more large than ever before. So yes, I think there's never going to be a dearth of stories, because what changes stories is only the perspective that it's told from. And I think yeah, I hope to make more films. It's not an easy journey. It's not an easy battle, but hopefully, it will be something that we will be able to enjoy in the process and enrich ourselves, and for the audience to enjoy as well.
Well, I wish you every good luck in the world, and commercial is good if you want to actually make films and get them out there. Your film sounds artistic as well, but definitely nothing wrong with commercialism. And so I wish you the best. And do I have your permission to publish this on YouTube, internet, here
Yes,
or there
yes,
or whatever?
for sure. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks so much for talking to me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.